the Victory Net. This is like a,
well, don't scare me like that.
well, it's a religious net, but it's not
flip a switch or something?
all religious talk, if you know what I mean. You know, they do a prayer to get started. If somebody's not feeling good or somebody is in need of a prayer, they give it. Other than that, it's just everybody kind of like just has a good talk, good conversation. You know, and it's a good net.
USL, yes sir, Mike Charlie Tango.
You can listen to it on shortwave, or if you're on amateur radio, that's where you go.
What the brand is on right now, but that's what it is, MCT oil.
But meanwhile, let me turn that down for a minute and see what happens. I made that switch. I do want to go down to Home Depot though today or later this evening, because I want to get some soft copper flashing that I can wrap this with and have it a little bit better looking than just using copper tape. Now the copper tape works. It's not an issue with it not working. It's conductive. It'll work. It's going to, you know, keep everything where it's supposed to be. However, I would rather have it look a lot neater. So by picking up some copper flashing, or if I can find some soft copper, I can just do what I have to do. So that's what I'm going to do there. Now I did redo the front, so what I need to do now is I got to cut some lettering for it, because I want to put antenna 1, or at least a numeral 1 over here on the left side, off up on the top, 2 over there. Now it does have a section for both, however I really don't know. I'll put the B there for both. However, I don't know if I'll try it with an SWR meter in line, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we'll take it one step at a time. I'll tie that into it there. Now that one is tied into the 2-meter 440, but it also has a tie-in for HF, so that meter can be used for both at the same time. So that's what I'll be doing. So, all right, I got to do a little cutting. I'm not going to bore you guys anymore. I'll be right back. All right, I checked the connector.
Alrighty.
The connector is good. So the antenna jumper, the 3-foot jumper that I was using, is fine. And again, how you check it is you get an ohm meter. For those who don't know, you take your 2 ends. Doesn't make a difference when you're checking ohms what side you want to use. And in this case, this meter will give me an indication.
Proverbs 1, verse 7. Amen.
That's Coast Guard. Turn that down for a minute. All right. And that's how you check. If I have that sound, that means I have a connection or continuity from one point to another. If I was checking a piece of wire or something like that. If I'm checking against it, for instance, with the coax, it has, we'll say, 2 wires, the center and the shield. And I don't want the 2 to connect. So if I go from shield to center, as I was showing you yesterday, and if I got that, that tells me I have a short. See, so I wouldn't want that. So meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in antenna 1. And I'm going to put this one in antenna 2. And when I do this, I should get a beep. And I'm not. So that's telling me I've got a bad switch. Alright, now let's see if 2, nope, let's go to 2, hold on. Nope, I'm not getting it there either. Now am I getting it on the ground side? That I should see. Yeah, alright, so I am getting it on the ground side, which is not a big deal at this point, because I got to get it on the center. So I got to find out why I'm not. So let me open this little puppy up and I'll be right back to you. Well guys, I've got a few small projects today. I'm not going to run you through all of them, but one was I have to get to Home Depot. This is actually a battery switch. A heavy duty Kerchunk battery switch that has a real good connection for connecting the batteries, other than just a set of points. like, you know, the old points in a distributor. So I decided to modify it to make it an antenna switch. Now, it's all wired. What I need to do though is I need to get to Home Depot because I want to get some more copper. This is just copper tape. Now this works, but it doesn't really fit the bill as far as looks. So I want to get some copper flashing so that I can actually box this in and make it look a little better than what it is. And at the same time, give me a little bit more of a bolt pattern for bolting it in. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing with this particular project for an antenna switch. The other project is, I don't know if I ever brought this up or not. When we bought this house, this little thing was built in a little box. Well, apparently it wasn't this box. But it was built in a little box. I thought it was this box, but apparently not. And it hung over the door. And this went on the door. So when you open and close the door, now when it is in the box, it echoes and gives you a louder sound actually. I just have to find some real thin. 1/4 inch is not thin enough actually. I may have to go to the hobby shop and pick up some wood to build an enclosure on this thing. And I also have to remember, I thought this was the box, but I may have been wrong, seeing that it doesn't look like it's going to fit. Now, it was all enclosed except for just one part. If you look at this, you can see. All right, and that's where these things were exposed somehow or other, if I can remember how it went, so that when you open and close the door, this would be up. You couldn't see it. It would drag across those. And again, give you that sound. Now, not that I'm even going to use it, but it was in the house when we bought it. I like it. The wife likes it. We took it down about a week after we bought the house when we were painting. But I want to redo it and just kind of have it, just in case I ever want to use it for something. Some type of a chime or something. I don't know. I just got to figure out how the hell it was, because I know it wasn't like that. Yeah. I don't think it was like that. Well, it could have been. It might have been just like that. Yeah, sure. Now, if it was like this at all, it would be this way. That might have been it. And then the top came across into here, which bolted down using these screws here. This uses it to bolt against the house or the frame. And then at that point, yeah, because you can see where it used to run against right here. So I may have to go to the hobby shop and pick up some thin, actually it was a balsam wood or something. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, I got to take care of that. I want to redo it, put it away, just in case we have a need for it. The other thing is, I noticed that today's a day of projects. I noticed the other day that for some odd reason, my alarm in the truck, I went to open the door, the alarm goes off. I went to turn off the alarm, and the battery was dead. So the alarm went off for a few minutes. Well, it seemed to be eternity, but it wasn't. Oh, there's the registration. Okay. But meanwhile, it had gone off for, I would say, at least close to a minute by the time I got in and got out and did everything I had to do. Now, in the alarm, I modified, well, I didn't actually modify. It has a wire that when the alarm goes off, it goes 12 volt. It triggers 12 volts. It's for like light flashing, things like that. So it's a positive trigger. So the thing is, even when you chirp the alarm, oh, I put it back, good. When you just set the alarm or deactivate or activate the alarm, it'll chirp. Well, that chirp would send a signal down that wire. When the dash cam, because I hooked up a dash cam inside the van, up in the back, facing forward, up in the corner, so it's out of the way, you can't really see it. And when the alarm goes off, that dash cam starts to record. Well, what was happening was the chirping would trigger that cam and turn it on. Well, I didn't want that. I only want it to go on when the alarm is going off. I don't want it to go on every time I set or activate or deactivate the alarm. So I put a little timer delay in there, and it was working. I think I set it for either 10 or 15 seconds. May have been a bit shorter, but just enough to get past that chirp. So I didn't have to worry about that setting the alarm off. Well, meanwhile, going back, I set the alarm off accidentally because the battery was dead, so it went off for almost a minute. I said, let me check the camera now, because I want to see if it works, because I don't really check it a lot. Well, I pulled the SD card out, I brought it inside here, I plugged it in the computer, and nothing. It didn't work. So I said, well, that is, So I started probing it the other day. I don't know if I posted the video or not, because I went nuts with videos for a while there, guys. I'm sorry. And not only that, but they were long ones. I'm going to try to keep them broken down into like 15-minute segments. And I may put them together as one long one, but I'll also post them maybe as 15-minute segments. So you can watch a little bit at a time, or if you want to run the whole thing, you just sit there and run the whole thing. But meanwhile, it didn't work. So I want to find out what the hell it is that's not working. So that is going to be another project today. So I have to go through the paperwork. Now this is all on the van, I believe. This gives me all the information on the wiring of the van. All right, because I downloaded all the wiring on the van. I wanted to see exactly where what was and where it went. So I downloaded that. This is the directions and how I hooked up what I needed to hook up to the alarm. This is what it is too. Now most of the time you're not going to use every wire on the alarm unless you plan on hooking up every feature, which is sometimes a nuisance. The more you have, the more it can go wrong with it. But they have it so it'll close your sunroof. You can put a sensor on it where if it gets wet, it closes the sunroof, it rolls up the windows. I mean, there's all kinds of crap. You know what? I want to, so if somebody breaks in or breaks a window, the alarm's going to go off. And if I want to be able to start it and turn it off when I want. That's all I care about. If I don't put the windows up, shame on me. I don't need all that crap to go wrong. But meanwhile, I got to go through this one more time. So that's another project today. And then, I don't need this anymore. I may have to blur some of this out because I didn't realize I had some private information showing, so I may have to blur it out. I don't know. What's this? Well, that's my thing saying that the van passed emissions. What a farce that is. If your vehicle doesn't pass emissions every 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, if you take it to a station and spend up to X amount of dollars, I think it's $750 to fix the problem, and the problem isn't fixed because they can't fix it for that amount of money, but you showed an effort, they give you a waiver. All right? It's just another way for the state to make money. I mean, this is stupid. If they're going to give you a waiver if you can't fix the pollution problem, why make us all spend $20? Because you want to take us to the bank. That's why. All right? I don't know. Yeah. At one time, I think it was Florida, never had any of that. I don't know if Florida has that now or not. But at one time, years ago, when I had my Harleys, I used to register my bikes in Florida. I actually had one of my vans registered in Florida. So, but then they started doing it to where it had to have inspections in certain counties. So then a friend of mine changed me from Sarasota over to Daytona because Daytona wasn't having inspections, and the next thing you know, it just started getting out of hand. I said, you know what, it's not worth it. You know, it really isn't worth it. So I said, yeah, just let me register it here and not worry about it. All right. That's what I have to do today. Catch you later.